Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race we might look back on as the path to finding the winner. Well, a mixed meeting on Saturday this week in Hong Kong, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 9, our winning factor, the map. Now this class 3 over 1650 metres on the dirt is headlined by Yellowfin after his impressive win last start over the same course, but I think there will be fans of a number of the horses who chased him home last time, like So We Joy, Kimberley and especially Addyphil, while elsewhere Ching simultaneously drops back to class 3 and has his first appearance on the dirt. Now, the alternative form line in this race is for Ching. He's been racing okay on the turf lately in Class 2, drops down a grade here and appears for the first time on the dirt. But he is by the American horse Frosted, who was up against American Pharaoh in the Triple Crown races back in the day. So the dirt might actually suit this horse. Now, I'm not going to show you his last couple on the turf in Class 2. We're going to go back to last season, the last time we saw him in Class 3, and this is what he did. This is race 702. This is in May, and he's in gate 12 here, Ching, purple and red colours, and basically steadies back to the rear from that wide draw, and that's where we'll see him for most of the race. Now, the little bit of pace on in the second section certainly gives him some help at the finish, but basically he does most of this himself, unleashing a big burst from last down the straight to overhaul near the line a horse that we're expecting to be a player in this season's Hong Kong Derby, Helene Feeling. But for a direct dirt form comparison from recently, we need to go back no further than Yellowfin's win last start. Now, 8 of the 11 runners in that race will be running again in this race on Saturday, so it's really our primary form guide. But there's only 2 that I really want to focus on out of this replay, and they are Yellowfin and the ultimate 4th place getter, Addyphil. So this is race 219, white and yellow colours, gate 5, that's Yellowfin, and Lyle Hewitson has him quickly pressing for the front. While Addyphil in gate 11 in mauve colours, James McDonald, well, he doesn't have any easy options from there and basically has to surrender, go back and be hostage to the tempo, which isn't kind, as the heat map shows us. An average first split, a very soft second section, and by halfway Hewitson had full control of the race, while McDonald on Addyphil is back wide, desperately hoping for a move in front of him to drag him into the race. It didn't come. Hewitson turns up the wick at the 800 metres, everyone else is suddenly chasing, and McDonald finally tries to get into the race around the field, but the sprint is hard, the race is over, and Addyphil has to be content with a pretty good 4th. So Addyphil went out favourite in that race despite the wide draw, and when they go to Saturday's race, their positions at the draw are reversed. We see Addyphil now drawn low. That won't make him the leader of the race, but it'll certainly see him sit closer and with a more economical run, while Yellowfin moves out to gate 9. And I think there might be more opposition horses for him as he looks to get control again. Meanwhile, Ching draws okay and probably won't be as far back as the video we saw, but we've seen over time that his style generally is to be back and running on. So I think all the favours on the map this time could be with Addyphil, and bear in mind that he was the favourite for that last race. And I'm going to take a look now at a form factor that we haven't used before on this show, and that is the odds profile. So what you're seeing on this graphic is about odds profile. Now, when we talk about that, we're paying attention to the past markets to help predict the future. Because the expectations of the market before that last race were that Addyphil was the best horse. Now, why do we care what odds a horse was last time? Because it tells us what was predicted by the betting, and anywhere in the world, the starting odds of horses are the best long-term predictor of the finishing positions. Now here I've displayed some different odds in Hong Kong racing over thousands of races over the last 10 years with the implied win percentages of those prices compared to the actual winning percentages of the horses that ran with those prices. And you can see in most cases they line up pretty close. Now obviously in tote betting there are many more starting prices than we can show here, but hopefully that gives you the idea. So the tip from me in race 9 is Adifil. His winning factor, the map. Now last time most of these horses went around in a similar race, Adifil was considered the winner by the market, and the market is a pretty good judge. However, things went against him in the race as far as the draw was concerned, the map, and he wasn't able to live up to those expectations. Now, as we saw on the map this time, things swing Adifil's way. He's going to get the best of everything, and I think this time those market predictions will turn out to be correct. The other race I'm looking at, well, of course, it has to be race 10, where our winning factor is Manners Matter. Now this is an intriguing Class 3, 1400 metres, and a race that could have implications for the 4-year-old Classic Mile next month, as it features 2 contenders in Beauty Crescent and the Heir. I think here there will also be some fans of the consistent Pins Prince, who gets a perfect trip again, and I think Rattan Kingdom has a chance with his lightweight. But for me, the focus of this race is very much on the rising 4-year-old Beauty Crescent and the already 4-year-old The Heir. And as fortune would have it, they both had their latest appearance on International Day. So in race 234, early in the day, Beauty Crescent has gate 14. He jumps well in the pink and black beauty colours and the pink blinkers, but jockey James McDonald elects to let the speed go, drifts to the rear and finds the fence. Now, what I want you to look at here is when the pace slows, we see Beauty Crescent want to get his head up and over race. And this is something we've seen consistently in his 8 starts in Hong Kong. And even when the pace picks up from the 800 metres here, he's still wanting to go faster than his rider desires. Despite all that, we see him in the home straight. He produces a big finish, overcoming a checkered run and having to change course, and gets home into 3rd placing. Now, a terrific run from a horse with plenty of talent when he learns to harness it. But later in the day, we saw the 2nd start from the Heir in Hong Kong, also 1200 metres like his debut. And we go now to race 240. He's in gate 10, dark blue and white colours, and the Heir jumps okay. But Vincent Ho is in no hurry, and that's the right plan too. As we see on the heat map, the pace good to strong for much of this race. The Heir drifts back, but otherwise enjoys a good run through the race and does everything right. Now Ho finds the back of the eventual winner, Galaxy Patch, as they're entering the straight, and I think he gets his chance in the run down the home straight to beat him, but that isn't happening, and he just has to make do with beating the rest. Now, Galaxy Patch is going to be one of our best sprinters, I think, by the end of this season. So you're unlucky to bump into him in Class 3, but what's unluckier than bumping him into Class 3? Well, bumping into him in Class 3 twice, which is what has happened to the Heir in his 2 runs in Hong Kong so far. Now he gets up to 1400 metres, a distance at which he won twice in Sydney, and particularly in his last win in Australia, a very strong form race against some very good young horses. There were 11 runners in that race, and pretty much every runner that finished behind him that day has won at least once since. So it's very strong form he brought from Sydney at the 1400 metres. Now he gets to that distance. Now we look at the map, and Beauty Crescent this time has the best of it on paper, with a better draw. The Heir had to drift back early to get in over 1200 metres last time, and from the same gate here I think he might have a few similar issues, but I can see good speed. Maybe not as fast as last time, but certainly genuine, with massive action, Parterre and E-Legend, all horses that like to lead. From a much better draw, James McDonald might want to sit closer on Beauty Crescent to be in front of his main rival, but the concern with this horse is that he has over-raced and fought his riders nearly every time we've seen him in Hong Kong, Riding him closer to use the gate, well, could that set him off again? But the tip from me in race 10 is the air. His winning factor, manners matter. I don't think there's a great deal between these two horses. In fact, their closing sectionals on International Day were only hundredths of a second apart, so their talent is quite similar. And you could say that the map favours Beauty Crescent from a better draw this time, but it is a concern that he has pulled very hard in his Hong Kong races. Could he do it again from the inside draw, particularly if the jockey is tempted to try and ride him a bit closer? I'm going with the horse who behaves himself. That might prove the winning difference. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you next time, and Merry Christmas to all.